Welcome to Overtime on Inferno, live edition from New York City. My name is Logan Ramhap. I am here with Elliot.
What's up?
That's the camera over there. Hi, camera. I don't remember what the rest of this intro goes like.
Yeah, it's not written down.
Whatever. So. Fuck it. We're just starting. So we're live today from New York, which is fun and different and not normal.
I never thought I'd say the words "We are live from New York."
It's not even Saturday night, man.
It's not Saturday night, but it is New York. Like I don't know, kind of why I'm here. I told Daft Mike.
Yeah.
So I was staying at his in Philadelphia the other day, and he was like, it's not your first time in the States, is it?" And I said, yeah, it is, actually.
It's my first time out of Europe.
Right? Sweden was the furthest from home I'd been before this.
Okay.
And I was like, and Ryan was sort of like joking, like, "Oh, do you want to come to Mustache Masters?" And I was like, "Yeah, all right, I can do that." So here I am. I'm now crashing in his house in New York.
I think house is the wrong word.
Yeah, like I'm so used to saying house because everyone I know has a house.
Yeah, no, this is an apartment.
But it's New York. You don't get houses in New York.
You get either an apartment or a brownstone. Those are your two.
I don't know what that is.
This whole building is a brownstone.
Okay.
Your choice is either own part of building or whole building, and that's it.
Right, and even then you rent it out.
Yeah,
so
yeah. And some people rent it out. Some people like full send and live in the whole thing.
That's
and,
wild.
Use multiple floors, kind of thing.
Why would you? Who needs that much
space?
space?
The ultra rich.
Even then, like you just don't need that much. You can at least like rent out like the bottom 5 floors.
Generally, I think historically brownstones are only 3 stories tall.
Oh, okay. So that's kind of a house.
Yeah.
But do they keep like there's like a lock on each door, so you could just
the inside is just not.
Oh, okay. They were just okay.
Yeah, it's just kind of more open.
But yeah, I mean that concept is so strange to me because I've always lived in like smaller towns in England. Other than I lived in London for a little bit and I hated it. So
see that's the opposite of me because I lived in suburbia.
Yeah.
For a lot of years.
A lot of years.
17 years, and now I live in suburbia but colder.
Okay.
Because living on a college campus is basically living in suburbia.
Yeah.
Right. Especially like up in Buffalo. So it's suburbia but colder.
The only other time I've heard the word suburbia is like the Green Day song Jesus of Suburbia. We don't really use the word suburbs. You're just like, well, we kind of do. But
I mean, do you guys have I don't think you guys have suburbs in the same way that we do.
No, it's very much not.
Cuz like when I went to London, right? I stayed in what I would have considered a suburb, but it was definitely considered in London. It was Chiswick.
Okay, yeah.
I would have considered that a suburb from like distance to the normal part of the city, but like
nobody really uses that word in the same sense.
No, not at all.
Anyway,
some other things that have happened this week.
It's been quite quiet.
It's been very quiet.
There's like a calm before the Rostermania storm.
Yeah,
like something big is about to happen.
We just don't know what.
Yeah. I mean, we have the overdrive thing of like G2 supposedly getting Munzi and maybe Rops, which is
dumb.
Expensive is what the word I would have gone.
Oh my god, it's gonna so spend expensive.
Like cash. Mad cash.
Like if Device's buyout was $1 million, right? You gotta imagine what he's making monthly. Like imagine per year he makes what 600-700 grand probably in there.
Possibly, yeah. Yeah, probably.
I'm guessing. I'm so guessing. You assume Rops is like...
Yeah. The rumors we've heard on the amount Rops is going to make, the guy is going to be like set for life in a couple years. He's as long as he doesn't like get benched, which I would be surprised if Rops ever got benched. But
that would be weird. That would be really weird if he ever got benched.
Yeah. I mean, he has some big offers, Rops. I've heard like 3 different teams are interested in him. I also heard he was a little bit worried about G2 because of how they treat the League of Legends team. Obviously with Reckless signing and then getting benched.
Yeah, as you say, I feel like if we say that, we have to explain that. So Reckless went over from Fnatic to G2 for 1 season and now is playing for like, what's the Counter-Strike analogy? Like tier 2 NA?
I think the analogy I used was like if Device went to Endpoint.
Yeah,
or Movistar or something.
or Movistar or Entropic or something like that.
So
like one of those
team with a big following, but
yeah,
who are not in the big league yet. At least.
Yeah. He went to Carmine Corp. For those of you who know League of Legends that didn't follow the fact that Reckless moved.
I think if you follow League of Legends, you know that Reckless has gone. Yeah. So I heard that Rops was a little bit worried about that, like and being mistreated by G2, but maybe he just ends up there anyway because they are one of the best teams in the world. At least when lands are on. Online, they kind of suck.
Yeah, I mean, what would that team look like? Would that team be Nico, Hunter, Munzi, Rops, Nexa?
Jesus Christ, what a team that is. What an unbelievable... Hunter might genuinely be their worst player there.
Who Ops? Munzi Ops.
Munzi Ops.
Who's the support player?
Nexa, I guess. Nexa's just
Nexa's support, he's entry, he's IGL, there's going to be 3 entry fraggers.
I can't figure out if being the in-game leader for that team would be the most relaxing or the most stressful thing possible.
Stressful. 1,000% stressful.
Because in a sense, you don't have to do anything. Because,
I mean, this would be the ultimate Zywugo kill team.
Yeah, exactly.
This is
you could just pick a player and go, right, your turn. You just
switch it up every round.
We'll have a 2-man setup where it's Munzi and Nico, and it's well, what if they just go to the other site? Then you've got no Munzi or Nico. It's we got
Rops.
We got Hunter and Rops. There's no way that team doesn't have second best CT side in the world. The CT side for that team is going to be
who do you think would be the best CT?
Or Navi.
Okay.
Because Navi's equivalent is we have Simple Electronic here. What if they just go to the site? We have Perfecto and Bit. Okay. Fair enough. I mean, maybe G2 actually would have more firepower in that sense.
I think they do, because while Perfecto is a very good player and a very good clutch player, I don't think he's on the same level as Hunter.
Yeah.
On a pure he is a support player.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
This team doesn't have this is a stupid team. I hate this.
But then so it's Simple versus Nico. You probably edge it to Simple.
Yeah.
And then you Electronic versus Rops. That's kind of up in the air. Electronic, I think, maybe a better player overall, but Rops mechanically, especially on the CT side, he's flawless mechanically.
I feel like you also give Rops 5 minutes, and he's just he could be a better player in any given sense than Electronic. It is honestly a toss up.
Yeah, exactly.
It could go either way so easily.
And then you've got Bit versus maybe Munzi, kind of young, untested. Not even untested.
I don't even know who wins that.
But it's definitely not untested anymore.
No,
he just passes every test with flying colors. Okay, Munzi's untested, but he does have the AWP, so he's going to be pretty good, and he's clearly really good.
Yeah.
Actually, that one's up in the air.
That's something I'd like to talk about. So you had asked for on the internet webs.
Yeah.
The HLTV top 20 minus Hoppers.
Yes, somebody actually went out and made it. I dropped some retweets. It's really cool. It's a really cool list. Actually, it's quite interesting.
I want to pull it up because
pull that up, Jamie.
I assumed Simple would still be on it. I didn't realize we just deleted every player that uses an op ever.
It was. I think the cutoff point I gave was 10%. Because over 10% you're more than an occasional AWPer.
Yeah.
And under it, it's if you make it 5%, I think you lose Nico, you lose Rops, I think you lose Bit as well.
Nico, Rops, and Config. It looks like from
is Bit also over 5%?
Bit is at 4.9, 4.39.
Okay, so you lose Config, you lose Nico, and you lose
Rops, which to be fair, you'd think would be the high out of everyone.
I wouldn't mind losing Rops because he. Maybe I don't know.
I'd mind losing Rops.
Yeah, so it's that's a pretty reasonable list. I mean, I think you can maybe deduct some rating for anyone who has over 5%.
Yeah. So for context, the top 10 are Nico, Hobbit, Axile, Yukander, Roy, Quesarado, Rops, Electronic, Frozen, and Twists in that order. Bit is number
Twists
11.
is still up there, man. It feels like he's gone quiet for a while, and now he's
It's just because FaZe don't play anything.
Yeah, true.
FaZe play 2 tournaments a year, and that's it.
Yeah, true. If you take the AWPs out, he's still top 10, which is admirable.
Yeah, I'd actually want to know where ZywOo and Simple fall on here on just their rifling.
Yeah,
that's a very complicated.
It'd be really difficult
metric to find out. Yeah,
like we would need some help from HLTV to do that.
Yo, I mean, Simple Striker, Prof.
Yeah,
just helps out here.
Yeah, I shook Prof's hand and told him who I was, and he like recoiled. Simple would still be a great player if he was a rifler.
I think Simple is just out of top 10.
Yeah, maybe. He'd probably still a top 10 rifler if he wanted to rifle.
You know what my biggest surprise in here? Both the big Israeli players, FlameZ and Sphinx, both top 20.
Sphinx is a fucking beast, dude.
Sphinx is 13, FlameZ is 17.
Sphinx has some of the best spray control I've seen. His spray control is amazing.
That Ents team is weird, but I love that Ents team.
They remind me so much of Big, where I'm not excited to watch them because you kind of know what their results are going to look like before they play most of the time. And sometimes you watch them and they go oh, this team has no firepower whatsoever. And then other times Sphinx just drops 40 kills and I'm like, oh yeah, they have Sphinx. And then it'll just go really quiet next game. And I'm like, is this guy actually a monster? Or how good is he? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, he is a beast. His multi-kill potential, because of how well he controls the spray, is so high, and that's a large part of the reason Ents are any good in the first place. Because Hades is fine, but he's not he's not a standout player. I don't really get Deher. A lot of people rave about him. I don't really get it.
No.
Snappy's a good in-game leader, but it's kind of it's kind of it. I don't know. This seems weird.
It seems weird.
But yeah, no. That list is really interesting. I retweeted it a few days ago. If you want to go and have a look, and I do think that Yukinda might just be one of. He might be. You know how it's quite obvious who the best two players in the world are.
Yeah.
And then the third is really up for debate.
Yeah,
I think it might be Yukinda.
So what are our choices there? Rops, Yukindar, Nico, Shiro?
Shiro, yeah, probably. I'm not sure there's anyone else who you could debate. I mean, maybe there is that I'm not thinking of. Entirely possible.
I mean, I'd think about debating Elige, but not right now.
I think about it.
6 months ago, I'd be willing to debate Elige, but
I'd never put him as the third best player in the world. He is good. He's really good. I mean, I'm super high on Bit. I don't know about third best in the world, but I'm super high on him.
Nah.
But Yukinda, he's the best player on his team. He carries pretty much single-handedly their T-sides.
Yeah.
He takes 34% opening duels with over 50% success, which is
stupid,
ridiculous. You look at the only other players who come close, Art with 45%, and then there's Joking is always up there, but
he plays in Asia, and now that kind of
Nafany has really high. Nafany's 32%, but he's also less than 50%.
Yeah.
If you have 50% success rate in opening duels and you take 30%,
that's
dumb. Elite. Yukinda's at 53% or something, which is just insane. He's just a ridiculously good player, and he's so aggressive that he just changes the way the game works. He is the only reason this VP team is
as good as they
a top 8 team in the world. He's just insane. I don't know. The guy's crazy.
I pulled up the HLTV rankings while we were here just to because I was trying
anyone else who could be third.
Yeah, I haven't found anyone, but I found something also surprising. Entropic is ranked 9th in the world right now.
Wow. I mean,
it surprises me, and it also doesn't surprise me at all.
I was expecting you to say 14th or 15th, and I was going to go, yeah, of course.
No.
9th, I'm that.
They were ranked 12th last week.
It's not that big of a stretch.
No, it really isn't.
But it also just sounds weird.
I mean, teams that they're beating out right now: Furia, Copenhagen Flames, Ents, OG, Big, Liquid.
Yeah, it's hard to argue any of those.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'd be willing to state that all of them are better. The only one Fiend, Movistar, Fnatic, Astralis.
Fnatic will be top 10 very quickly.
Yes. We'll talk about Fnatic more in a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's get on with our list of things. Floppy.
Yeah, so Floppy came out on HOTV and did an interview talking about Valorant versus Counter-Strike. saying like, once I played Valorant, like Valorant made me appreciate Counter-Strike even more.
Yeah.
Which I resonate with. Not in a lol Valorant bad kind of way, but I realized I thought I wanted more than Counter-Strike. I was like, I want more stuff. Like, I like League of Legends and I like Counter-Strike. What if they mix the two? It'd be amazing.
It's called Overwatch.
Well, quite. I mean, the thing with Overwatch is the shooting mechanics are not great.
No. Sorry.
But Valorant has like pretty decent shooting. Not as good, but I'm like, once I played it, I was like, no, I really like Counter-Strike is just the greatest game of all time. Like, I'm like,
so I play Valorant ranked like 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah.
With my roommate and another friend of ours, we 3Q. Sometimes we 5-stack with people. Right. I play a decent amount of Valorant ranked at this point, and every single time I play, I go, "Fuck, the Vandal is just not as good as the AK.
Yeah,
it just doesn't feel. Just the guns don't feel as good." And this is not like a hit on Valorant because again, I still play it 2 or 3 times a week in ranked. Like, I'm still playing it. It's still enjoyable, but like.
It doesn't feel as nice. Like the shoot.
You know what?
No game will ever have as good shooting mechanics for me.
There is one game, but it's very specific. It's Call of Duty on controller.
Oh no.
No. Older Call of Duty on controller.
No.
Okay. There's a reason for this. And it's because I grew up playing COD semi-competitively, and something about the vibration in your hand with the controller. I don't know. It's different for me. It's a me thing. It's not an everyone thing. It's a me thing.
I grew up playing COD on controller, and now all I can think of is, look how much time I wasted playing on controller. I could have been so good. I didn't use a mouse and keyboard till I was like 18. And I was like, imagine how good I could have been. Like when I play CS, I'm like, I have the like game sense. Well, I at some point I did at least. I had the game sense of a player much better than me.
But the aim of like a silver one.
My hands are like hard capped at LEM, but my head is like, wow. It's fine. Like I can read people. I can sort of understand setups. I understand some of the like deeper concepts, but my hands just are not willing. Yeah. And it's like, this is so sad.
You know what benefit Valorant did have for me? I moved my digital vibrance from 50% to like 80% because I realized how fucking dull Counter-Strike looks. It's so dull looking.
Yeah. That's the thing with Valorant, everyone's got like an outline, right? And that's always helpful because you've spotted somebody.
Yeah.
Whereas CS, you actually have to really concentrate, which I mean...
which I stick with, but like just maps and stuff are so...
But yeah, I'm glad to see Floppy back because
let's talk about Floppy.
He is a really gifted player, and I think people who don't care or don't watch NA Counter-Strike don't realize actually how good he is.
Yeah.
He's a very, very good clutch player, and he's a solid rifler. He doesn't make mistakes in the early round.
Yeah.
And then he just grows into the round. He's a good closer. And losing him was one of the biggest losses for NA, and then him coming back. I'm pretty sure both Liquid and EG would sign him now if he hadn't signed a contract with Extra Salt. I'm pretty sure they wanted him.
To be fair, Extra Salt might not be the worst place for him. No. Kind of get your feet wet a little bit on coming back.
I think I would rather be on Extra Salt than EG, but it really depends on what team EG decide to build or manage to build. I guess is probably more accurate because I'm sure they're trying to sign good players.
I mean, okay, so when EG first came into League of Legends 3 years ago,
they spent so much money on League.
They spent so much money. They were like, we're getting all the best players in the world. I think they tried to get Showmaker. Like they were, and then they ended up with this team. I have a feeling that's going to happen again in Counter-Strike. They're going to have really high aspirations, and they're not going to.
Yeah, but they ended up like 3 years later with a good roster, and they just bought one of the best junglers in the world. So eventually,
maybe it'll work out in the end.
The problem is you need proof of concept, and EG currently don't have proof that they can build good teams. So genuinely good players are going to look at that and go, "Look at your last roster; it was so dead." So they need to build. They need to spend smartly now.
So that way
they get a decent team.
They need to build to a point in which they can attract bigger players.
They need to prove that they can build a good team. And then once they've done that, players might be a bit more likely to switch. But I think a lot of European players don't want to move to NA, so they might end up having to base in Europe, which just screws NA even more.
Yeah, we'll get to NA later.
Yeah, we talked about it quite a bit.
Well, we'll have a quick talk about NA. I want to bring up this quote from Floppy, which is, "It's not like a majority of the players that switch to Valorant would ever do anything internationally in CS anyway."
Which is, I mean, look, it's kind of true.
The only players in my head that would have done things internationally in Counter-Strike: Ethan,
yep,
Nitro,
yep, Yampy,
Nivera.
I have a lot of faith. I had a lot of faith in Curry.
Yeah,
both the food and the player. Having watched him a couple of times in NA tournaments, if he'd have been offered a contract in CS and actually grinded it, he was going to be some player. He's really gifted, but unfortunately,
he's on whatever T1 is now.
Yeah, so he was going to drop out of CS for a little bit anyway because he hadn't got a contract and he was going to school, I think, and then he just got offered a big contract in Valorant and he was like, I have to take this opportunity. I mean,
fair play, have to, right? You can go back to school after 2 years.
He can go back to CS after a year, apparently, as well. Yeah. But I don't think he will. He was really gifted, and you could maybe argue TenZ with the right environment could have done as well.
Nivera
could.
I think there were a lot of projects.
Yeah. So it is those type of players. If Valorant can keep stealing good young prospects,
what if Valorant becomes the feeder system for Counter-Strike?
It might do in NA.
And you know what? I'd kind of be okay with that.
Yeah, you come up as a young CS player, you get your first offer in Valorant, right, and then you do really well in there, and then Liquid will offer you more money to come back to CS.
Yes, yeah.
I could actually. That would be.
I could see that.
Yeah, why not? I mean, the money in Valorant is so high that a lot of unless you're on Liquid or EG, you're better off just staying in Valorant most of the time. Unless you really don't like the game.
Extra Salt, I'd put there as well.
I don't know how much they pay.
I don't know either, but
it must be decent.
That org is dedicated enough to Counter-Strike for it to matter.
Yeah, that's true.
We see orgs flip-floppy constantly. Right?
Yeah, well, Extra Salt don't have any other teams, right?
No, they don't have any other teams, but they have big name sponsors and stuff. They are salaried players from what I'm aware of, right?
Yeah.
They are an actual North American team. No, they do have other players. I think they have players in Apex or some shit.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. You say they're an actual North American team. They had 2 South African players. I know they don't anymore. But they did have 2 South African players. It's
Their website describes them as a seasoned North American esports organization.
Excellent.
That might be my favorite thing I've ever seen.
It would work better if they were actually a long time. If they were 10 years old, you'd be like, okay, that's a good line. But I
mean, they were selling salt.
Yeah, they did sell salt, which was strange.
I mean, their team's called Extra Salt. You kind of expect them to sell.
Well, yeah, but who's buying salt? I mean, people obviously did buy salt off them, but it's
where are we?
Well, I get it, but I don't know. There's weird branding to me. But just to sort of round off the point on Floppy, he is really gifted, and if he hasn't missed a beat, if he just comes back and starts killing it, he's one of the best players in NA.
I'd agree. Let's talk about Shiro and NKJ.
This was great. So if you didn't see this interview, NKJ, the big analyst, I believe.
I think he's the analyst.
He might be the coach now because they changed dude. I think he might be the coach.
I think he is.
They swapped dude out who was their coach. So I think NKJ might be the coach now.
I think NKJ is the coach.
But he said, "Oh, I believe Searson is a better AWPer than Shiro," and then Shiro absolutely obliterated that event. It was the V4 Future Sports Festival or something in Budapest.
That is exactly correct on what it was.
Yeah. And Shiro, there was a point where Shiro had double figure clutches.
And everyone else had
3.
Yeah.
And 3 was second place.
The most impressive part about that was Shiro had 11 clutches, and Nafany, I think, had 3.
Yeah, he was one of the guys on 3.
He was third place with 3 or something.
He was one of the guys on 3.
And it was That's a lot. But also to me, that's a weird metric to put up. Because,
it's like kind of worrying, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought when I saw it. I was like, awesome, Shiro wins a ton of clutches, but like, why are they being put in the position to clutch constantly?
I mean, I will say if it's like mostly 1v1s and you get into a position where it's always Shiro in a 1v1, you know he's going to win he's going to win like 60-70%. Like that's probably a good strategy. If you can consistently get down to 1v1s with Shiro,
that's one thing.
You're kind of happy with that. But you have to wonder how many times that would work against Na'Vi, against
how many times is that G2. A 2v4 or 2v3 that they put themselves in that kind of situation?
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Or 1v2 or 1v3.
So it is kind of like, that's really cool, but maybe not a great sign if you're Gambit. But then they just destroyed the tournament, right? They just smashed everyone. And Shiro was like 1.6 rating or something. He is a serious pub stomper.
Yeah.
Like bad teams cannot deal with Shiro. Like good teams can sort of limit him quite a bit,
but bad teams, he just stomps you.
Yeah, there's other players like that. I mean, Rops is kind of similar, but Rops also finds kills against good teams. His team just loses.
I mean, yeah, that's the problem, is finding the good players that aren't that good against good teams.
Yeah, whereas if you look at Simple, his rating against other top 5 teams
is better than his rating against.
Well, it's like a 0.1 drop, a 0.01 drop off.
I actually thought it was slightly higher than his rating against bad teams.
At some point, it probably was. He just doesn't drop off against good players because everyone is worse than him. Whereas Shiro has like a serious drop off against good teams who can actually like limit him and stop him just running amok.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like it was so funny. It was like, no, Searson's a better AWPer than Shiro, and then Shiro dropped like 47 against him or something ridiculous. Like,
dumb.
Yeah. What? Like, why would you
say that?
Why would you say out loud before you play against Shiro?
Go say it after.
Searson's a better player. You can believe it.
NKJ just literally gave Shiro fuel in that game.
There's like a saying in certainly in football, I imagine in other sports as well, is like the opposition manager has done the team talk for you. Mm-hmm. Like you don't, as a manager, you don't have to say anything. You just go, "Oh, did you see what the opposition manager said?" Like that was Gambit's game plan. They're like, Shiro,
did you see what NKJ?
Did you see what Big said about you? And he's like, No. What did he say? So Searson, you know that guy who just can't rifle?
Yeah.
Who
has the same amount of kills in the last year with the HE that he does with the M4.
Yeah. And he's like, yeah. You know that guy? Like, kind of a decent AWPer, but not really that good. Yeah.
Top 5 scout player in the world.
Said he's a better AWPer than you. All right, it's time to go. Like, and then Shiro he was just set off. Like, maybe Gambit would be the best team in the world if they could just wind Shiro up.
Oh my god.
Like, if they could just they should just make it up. Like, they should hack into his computer and just edit the HLTV page. Every team they play against, it just says their AWPer is better than Shiro, and then all of a sudden he just become the best player in the world.
I hate that.
They need to somehow make him think that the world's against him, and he'll just become the best player in the world.
Let's talk about the other side of the pond. Let's talk about Fnatic.
Hell yeah, they just keep winning.
They just keep winning things.
We talked about them, I think, last week.
We did, yeah.
But they've lost one map in a series.
Yeah,
in a month.
They've destroyed people recently.
Yeah.
Hold up, where is it?
Yeah, they
lost one map to Eternal Fire.
Which is of all the teams to lose a map to.
They haven't lost a map since halfway through October, when they lost 2-0 to Copenhagen Flames.
Wow. That's insane.
Sorry, no. Sorry, they haven't lost a match. Yeah, they've lost a total of 3 maps in that time.
Yeah.
1 to Gamer Legion, 2 to Eternal Fire over 2 different matches.
Wow.
They beat Big 3-0 in a grand final.
Yeah, they did.
That's really all we need to know.
Yeah. This team is spooky.
They beat Copenhagen Flames 2-0.
I'm not convinced Copenhagen Flames.
I know you're not convinced Copenhagen Flames, but they're still a decent team.
They're decent, yeah.
It doesn't they might not be the best team in the world, but
yeah, 2-0ing them
they're certainly a top 30 team.
Mm-hmm.
They're a top 30 team who made a decent run at the major,
mm-hmm.
who probably makes playoffs, I don't know, 7 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
Right, depending on what happens in that last game against NIP, right? There's a lot going on there. So, good team to beat.
They should have won against NIP as well. Because then, like, NIP wouldn't have just stunk the place out during playoffs.
Yeah, really.
Although I'm not sure Copenhagen Flames would have would have stopped Nico in that form either. So.
No. Their next match is actually super fun. So coming up within everything is weird timings, right? We've got this coming week starting today when this comes out, because I'm not posting this on Thanksgiving for American morning.
Yeah. Understandable.
I schedule it, but still. It starts Blast, right? Which is on land in Sweden. Yeah. In Denmark. It's in Copenhagen.
Yeah, it's always Denmark.
It's Denmark. And then we have IEM Winter right after that. Mm-hmm. And then Player Break.
Yeah, which is... There's going to be so many roster moves in the Player Break. It's actually kind of I wish there was like no rumors now and no moves actually happening now. So as soon as Player Break hits...
you just get everything.
It would just be a wall of roster moves.
Like league free agency.
Yeah, exactly. But even then, you get everything's going to happen beforehand. Yeah. And it's I kind of wish I want it to be like nothing until free
NBA
agency.
Free agency. That's what I want here. Just like you hear maybe a little rumble that LeBron's going to the Lakers from the Cavs,
and then all of a sudden like that ESPN journalist tweets, "Oh yeah, Kyrie Irving signed a multi-million deal with the Nets."
It's the Woj bomb. He is one of few people I have Twitter notifications on for. Yeah.
I really don't like Twitter notifications, but that's a completely different.
That's a separate topic.
Completely different tangent that I'm not going down.
But point being is we get to see Fnatic against a decent teams in IEM Winter.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see how far they go.
I'm pretty sure there's going to be so many rosters that are going to change afterwards.
Yeah,
I think Fnatic might go like semis because they're going to be fired up. They've already made their roster moves. They're already settling in. There's going to be a bunch of dead rosters. I think Fnatic can just like crush teams there.
Yeah, there's a lot of dead teams here. Like, let's be real here. There's a lot of teams that are just not going to.
I can't remember who's at IEM Winter.
I'm trying to. Here we go.
But there's going to be like
it's G2. G2 who's not going
to. G2 we think are making changes.
We think they're making changes. But
they're trying
They're definitely not a dead team.
They're not a dead team, but.
They're
going to be making changes, so it's going to be like a last hurrah type thing.
Yeah, but this team is not a slouch as it is right
now. No. They're going to be fine because like if it's on land, Nico will just
is on land.
He'll just like the team was pretty much dead behind him during the major, and he was just carrying them.
Maybe this isn't on land. I'm not sure. It just says Europe as the location.
If it's online, G2 are fucked.
G2 are fucked. Yeah. Gambit.
If
it's online, they'll be fine.
Yeah, that's true. Gambit will be one of the better teams there. They'll be fine.
Heroic. See what I said about Gambit.
Yep.
Vitality, which should still be
so that's
full French Vitality.
That's a dead roster.
NIP, which will have ESA tag, so kind of in the same vibe as Fnatic.
Unless they're going to sign somebody else, which they probably should, but I don't think they will.
VP, which have already made their sign. They made their signing pre-major.
Yeah, that's true.
FaZe, who I don't think are going to make moves because they're FaZe.
Nah, they're trying to make moves.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know who they're going to get.
Other than the theoretical Rops to FaZe.
Yeah, exactly. They're trying to sign Rops. I just don't know if they will be able to.
Ents, who I don't think they might make moves.
I don't know. Like that seems such a ragtag bunch. Like, who do you get? You're just going to change it you're just going to change the piece for another similar one.
OG, who are absolutely most definitely trying to make moves.
Yeah, because Valdi might be off, right?
Yeah.
That's the rumor.
Yeah. Big, who probably won't be making moves.
No, they just signed Gade.
Yeah. Liquid, which is just
Liquid are making moves.
Liquid will not exist at this point next year. Yeah. In the second the year turns to 2022, Liquid will be a different team.
It was very telling that Liquid's like owner was like, "Oh no, for IEM Winter we're gonna have the same roster." So,
it was Steve.
All right. Yeah. So that means immediately after you will not have the same roster.
Yeah,
that's the subtext.
It was Yoka Steve. It wasn't Steve. Last name starts with an A and I can't pronounce it.
I don't even know who owns Liquid. I just saw somebody called Steve. I was like, it's probably
different
him.
Steve. There's two Steves.
Jesus.
Yeah, no, there was I'm pulling it up right now. So there was a an interview with Elige where he confirms that there will be changes to the roster.
Oh yeah. He said it on stream, right?
He said that there was an interview with play.gg.
Oh, okay. I thought it was on stream.
Well, I know he said it on stream, but I think it was in addition. Mouse, which will have moves.
Yeah, Mouse.
If Rops is still on Mouse at the end of this, that would be probably the biggest thing happening.
I think his contract might run out after IAM Winter, and then he's just off. He's like 99% sure he's leaving. They're apparently trying to get JKS, but I don't know how much substance is in that.
Wasn't that the rumor that we started last week?
Apparently it's true.
What the fuck?
But I don't know how much substance is in it. And I'm not sure how much money Mouse are willing to spend. So
I don't know,
Complexity pay a lot. So if they're going to match that, I'd be surprised.
Fnatic, who we just talked about.
Fnatic won't make changes, I hope.
I really hope not. Actually, the change I hope they make is that they move Smooya from trial to...
Yeah, I suppose.
My bet is that comes at the end of the trial. It will come midway through. Astralis, who will be a new look Astralis. They made their changes.
Yeah, but they're still trying apparently to sign Valve. I don't know if that's as a sixth man.
This is really just North 2.0.
Yeah. Like maybe I'm Team Astralis all of a sudden.
Oh shit!
It's just there's no AZ, which I mean he's a free agent.
They can make that work.
We've been off Zipnix,
and then Godsent and Tyloo, which
I like Godsent. That's a really stacked list of teams. But again, some of those teams are like in a weird spot. Like there's opportunity if you're a Godsent, if you're a Tyloo, if you're Fnatic. Like there is real opportunity to worm your way into like playoffs here, because like there's Mouse are almost certainly just going out last.
Yeah,
I would imagine, because they've been in pretty horrible form. They really need to just.
How much you want to bet they bench Rops?
I mean, what for the event?
Yeah, and just bring in like JDC.
They should. They should bring in Exertion and Torzi for this event. Yeah, like seriously.
Like if you know the team's gonna change, why the fuck not get these players like tier 1 line experience?
I would. Yeah, no, I agree. Actually, I would. Yeah. I would bring up Exertion. I would bring up Torzi.
It's like when you're in the NBA, right? And it's like garbage time minutes at the end of the game. You're like you're 20 points down. You know you're gonna lose. There's like 3 minutes left in the game.
You just bring in Taco Fall.
You bring in Taco Fall. You bring in Alex Caruso 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You give them like experience against good teams, because these are Mouse NXT are top 30 now.
Yeah.
So like. These guys are the future of your team. Like, you can save yourself
the future of a lot of teams.
You can save yourself so much money if Exertion, Torzi, JDC, if these players are good enough.
Money, make more money.
Yeah, well,
because
quite.
There's no chance they keep all of these players.
Like, if they do sign JKS, that would be so sad, because your academy team is the best academy team in the world.
With the exception of maybe Na'Vi.
With the exception of Gambit youngsters, which is now Gambit. This team's like smashing it.
Oh yeah, the team's absolutely
like. What's the point in an academy team if you aren't going to use them when you have gaps in your team? And this is the perfect time to see if Exertion can play at this level.
In an event you know that your team is not going to exist this way, the next event. Anyway.
In like a superstar role as well.
Just bring up the whole fucking team. Just tell everyone on Mouse.
I think
you're benched for this event. Nothing against you. We know the team's changing. There's no reason to play this event as this team. We want NXT to get experience. Just bring up the whole fucking team.
So, I would like them to bring up like 3-4 of that youngsters team when they make changes, because I think you might as well. Mm-hmm. But for this event, I would just pick the guy or two of the guys you think are the best.
Okay.
And fit them into like a Dexter with Frozen.
Okay, so like give them
and be like,
give them.
This is what it's like playing in a team like this.
Okay. Yeah, I see that.
And then maybe later you just go, actually, you guys like, and if they do well, you're like, these kids are probably like good enough. Then you just bring up like 4 of them and keep Frozen.
Yeah.
Because I don't see any reason. Like, I think they still think Acor can be good, and he definitely can. I'm just not sure Acor and Dexter works.
Yeah.
Maybe he needs a different in-game leader who'll get the best out of him. So I would like them to just bring up 4 of the Mouse NXT and just keep Frozen, because I think Frozen's a monster. I don't.
Frozen's really good. I think Bimus goes to another team then.
Yeah,
he won't be teamless.
No, Bimas is pretty good. Like, he's the sort of player who I could see. He's really young, so maybe you wouldn't want to go to NA. But like, I could see like, well, no, you know what I mean. Like, you'd get if you're 18 years old. You've moved across the world. You'd be like,
if he wants a spot on EG,
that's what I'm thinking.
He's got a spot on EG.
Like, EG always have like an Eastern European, right?
I mean, they still have Cirque.
Exactly. Yeah. I hope. I don't get Cirque. I've never really liked Cirque as a player. So I think his time's up personally.
All right, let's move on to Blast, because we have Blast a little bit sooner than Winter.
Yeah.
We got Na'Vi, Heroic, Vitality, Nip, FaZe, Big, Liquid, and Astralis.
Yeah.
This is our first look at new look Astralis.
Yeah.
It's our that's the only first look it is.
Yeah. So we know Na'Vi are going to win it, and then it's just like, who are they going to beat in the final?
Well, so the fun part about this event is to qualify for Fall Showdown?
Yeah.
No, Fall Showdown happened already. Global Finals?
Yeah.
Global Finals. We're going with Global Finals. And Na'Vi is already qualified.
Oh, we talked about this because we said they could just bring up Monzi, but it seems like they don't need to put him in the shot window because people are trying to buy him anyway.
Yeah. No, because so there's 1 or 2 of these teams already that have qualified already.
Yeah.
Which is fun. I think it's Vitality and Na'Vi and maybe Nips.
Yeah.
Maybe Nip. That have qualified. So if any of them win, it goes to second place on who gets through.
Yeah.
Or third place if 2 of them are in the final. Basically, it goes to the first team that's not those 3.
Yeah.
Which means we get to see FaZe go.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, or Astralis if they're actually good.
I'm not convinced on the Astralis yet.
Well, no, obviously we've not seen them.
Well, no, I'm like on paper, I'm still confused about Zip still being on this team.
I kind of agree. Like, if you're gonna have Blame, you want him to be the closer.
If you have Blame and Config and Glaive, I get that. Lucky, I can kind of even get.
Yeah.
But I don't understand Zip.
The roles make sense until you get to Blame F and Zip next.
Yep.
Because, like, Config Glaive as an entry duo makes perfect sense. Mm-hmm. Lucky is sort of more passive style AWPer with that aggressive entry duo makes sense.
Yep.
Blame F then as your closer and second caller. Perfect. And then you get to Zip and you're like, oh,
where do you fit
what's
in?
your role? I mean, maybe they use Blame F in a more aggressive role. He is... Like, he was a closer at the start and for a long time on Complexity. And then at the end, he became an entry fragger and he was still really good. So it's like, he can kind of do pretty much anything and still be good, it seems.
I've also heard this team is still not done with moves. Not only Valda, which would...
They tried to get Farley, didn't they?
Yeah, I heard the Farley thing.
Well, they tried to sign Farley... Months before they got lucky. They tried to sign Farley.
Maybe they go back to Farley. Maybe they really want Farley. They go back to Farley and go, look, we have Config and Blame now and are not a dead team that's going to go away.
Yeah, because they tried to sign Config, Blame. They tried to sign Farley, and there was somebody else they tried to sign, and they were all like, we don't know what this roster's going to look like. We don't know who's staying. And I think, Valda. Yeah, they tried to sign him as well. And then it was like, we don't know who's staying. And now they've been like, okay, we're keeping Glaive. We're bringing in... Their coach is now Ave, right? So they have Glaive and Ave, which is difficult.
I think Ave is pronounced Ave.
Yeah, but like, we can't bow to the whims of how the Danish say words because they say everything weirdly.
So here's the question. If he was the North coach, would you still call... When he was the North coach...
I called him Ave.
You called him Ave? Okay.
I was like, this is just Ave. Like,
okay.
Because like, if you get into the minutiae of how to pronounce Danish words, you're not going to have a fun time. Like, if you ever hear, like, MSL say Aizy, and it's like, I can't pronounce how he says it, and I'm like, oh, so I've been saying it wrong the entire time. Like,
who the fuck cares?
And it's like Garda as well, instead of Gade.
That's fucking dumb.
Valde.
I'm going to stick
Megisque.
with saying...
Come on.
We just keep saying Ziwu.
Yeah, I'm just going to anglicize everything, because... if I'm not gonna say Ziwu, I'm not gonna say Megisque. Like, it's just
Magist.
I'm just gonna say it as anglicized as possible. And then you know what? In that case, when there's English players, you can say it in a Danish voice. I don't care. You can do that and say it for your own. Say it however you want to say it. You can call me whatever you want.
An idiot?
Yeah,
Can we do
absolutely.
Okay. All right.
I've heard worse. Trust me.
All right, let's go to the last topic, which is the reason why you are in the United States of America. Mustache Masters Season 3 took place this weekend. For those of you who don't know, that is the event to benefit men's health through Movember. Elliot obviously spotting a fantastic mustache here.
Yeah, I didn't shave the beard because I was like, I look weird without a beard.
Understandable.
I look weird with a beard, but
weirder without
weirder.
A beard. Yeah.
I also am still. I had to write the name of 2 teams on my arms.
Well,
it was like a tattoo.
To be fair, you had to write the name of one team on your arm. You chose to write the other team. Don't think I wasn't watching and paying attention.
They did donate $25. That's fair enough.
Hey, fair is fair. But Mustache Masters 3 happened this weekend. The final was Team 1 versus Bad News Bears. Bad News Bears winning.
Yes, yeah. Bad News Bears beat them 2-0 in the semi-final, and then got to the final. They had a map advantage because they came from the upper bracket, and they 2-0'd them again.
Good.
Or 1-0'd them.
I mean, fun, but like...
yeah, it's a good sign for Bad News Bears. Team 1 were like the only team taking the other games seriously, which is quite amusing. There were a lot of Zeus kills.
Right. So I was packing to come to come home, right?
Yeah.
So I'm packing. My PC's on, and I've got it going. One monitor has donation tracker, so I can see what stupid thing you're gonna do.
Yeah.
And then the other monitor's got the stream on it, right? So I'm watching, and more so listening, and I just hear Zeus after Zeus after Zeus, and knife after knife after knife.
Yeah.
And it was the first game.
Yeah. I think a lot of the teams were donating $5 per Zeus kill.
Yeah.
And I think in the first game somebody donated $90.
Well, wasn't that like $1 per kill or something like that?
No, that was $5 per Zeus kill. There were
God.
18 Zeus kills I think it was the first game. And we watched and we were like, so that's how this is going to go. Like, I tell you what, I learned a lot
about the Zeus,
about the Negev. There's a lot of Negevs, and I'm now convinced it's better than the FAMAS.
I've been convinced that for years.
Yeah.
You brought up my favorite point on broadcast, which is the FAMAS is terrible.
Every
time I cast Counter-Strike, every time I'm on a desk for Counter-Strike, like I'm on monthly desk for Counter-Strike, I somehow fit in FAMAS worst weapon in the game.
So, did you see the Bad News Bears Team 1 game on Ancient?
I did not.
Right. It was 15-7, I think, to Bad News Bears. And they were like, this might be the last round, but can like Team 1 bring it back? And I was like, they've bought a FAMAS. It's over. Guy pushes mid, gets a flank on 5 people. He's behind them all, unloads the FAMAS.
No kills.
He got 1 kill. I was like, if he has an M4 there...
He gets all of them.
He gets 3. He gets 3, and then he gets traded.
Okay, but still, he gets more.
Yeah.
I swear to God.
It's so bad.
I was watching, and you said FAMAS is fucking terrible, and then the guy, he was like, I think he was two people in front of him, and he got none of them.
Yeah, literally every single time.
So bad.
Like, every single time I would talk about how bad the FAMAS was. People were like, no, it's not that bad.
No, it's fucking terrible.
And then the guy would die because he had a FAMAS. I was like, he died. Like, of course he dies. He has a FAMAS.
Yeah.
He just does like 60 damage and dies. And they're like, well, yeah, he bought FAMAS. He deserves it. Like, anytime you buy a FAMAS, you're giving up on the round. I actually think buying the FAMAS should get you banned for match fix.
No, I think, okay, I've said this before. They just need to make the burst fire better.
Absolutely agree. I wrote an article on this 3 years ago. I was like, you can't buff the FAMAS and just make it a worse version of the M4, slightly.
Fuck that shit.
But what's the point? Because the M4 is already, the M4 at that time is already kind of bad. So making it worse is never going to be good.
What you do is you take the special thing about it,
exactly,
and lean into it.
Exactly. I could not agree more. Make the burst fire a tighter spread.
Yeah.
So you can
and make it just burst fire.
Yeah.
Make it just burst fire.
Yes,
I
agree.
Make it unique.
Yeah. I actually 100% agree. That's one thing you can... I mean, I guess in Valorant they have the Bulldog, which is burst fire when zoomed in and not zoomed in. But they also have the Guardian. It's like the cheaper rifles are specialist guns.
Yes.
Which I think makes sense. I wouldn't mind the FAMAS just being burst fire and you just tighten the spread so you can actually just burst people in the head. And then it becomes a skillful weapon. But then at the same rate... If it's just a burst fire gun where you have to burst them in the head, why would you not just buy a Deagle?
I mean, maybe it takes 2 bursts to the chest. That's viable.
Maybe. I don't know if it depends how quick the sort of like reload time, like how quickly you can fire the second burst, because that could be really.
I'm just literally imagining they take Bulldog secondary fire, and just
port it onto the FAMAS. I mean, that would be fine because you wouldn't be able to multi-kill with a burst fire FAMAS, but you could.
It would fit a niche.
Yeah. No, I'd be down for that. Because the gun absolutely sucks.
Whereas
the Negev, you can multi-kill with. You can't do anything else.
Did I ever tell you about? So I was on a broadcast, right? It was for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was on desk for the finals, which was Party Astronauts, Bad News Bears.
Mm-hmm.
Probably, I don't know, a month ago, just last month towards the end of the month. So I'm fucking sitting there. This is the last map of the finals, right? Nuke. Party Astronauts are up a map. I think it was map 2. They ended up winning 2-0. And Cynic pulls out a Negev and a revolver.
Respect.
He knew the wallbang angles for the Negev and made it look like it was meta on Nuke.
Like the Negev can. I had the VU and I said to VU, I was like, I need you to rate my VU take, but the Negev is better than the FAMAS. And he was like, that's cap. That's a ridiculous thing. I'm like, is it? Because the FAMAS fucking sucks. And I've seen people like there was a lot more Negev kills than FAMAS, which is like, I mean, a lot more people were buying it because why would you buy the FAMAS if you were trying to have fun or win the game? But like, I was like, this gun kind of looks useful, at least compared to the FAMAS. I'm like, this gun kind of looks okay. It's obviously bad, and the movement speed is so bad.
I have a horror story of the Negev.
Oh god.
So, I coach a team, right?
Yeah.
I'm obviously not a very good coach because we ended up like tied for 4th, I think.
Yeah.
Or like one game off of 4th and in 6th because there were 17 ties in this league. I'm not even joking. I think there was like a 4-way tie for second place.
Oh my god,
it's fucking terrible. So we're playing Inferno, our home turf. These motherfuckers buy Negev, not my team, the other team buys Negev down banana. We couldn't deal with it for a little bit.
Yeah.
Then I was like, okay, guys, this is so fucking easy. Stop mollying top banana, just smoke it, and we'll figure it out from that point, right? Just don't give them vision, and we'll be fine. Okay. We do that. It worked because it was a change of pace. They didn't have vision. We were able to just not contest as much as we needed to.
Okay.
Right? The next problem was when we pushed them further back banana, he went and sat on fountain with the Negev in like the head glitch angle. I swear to fucking God, my team could not kill him. He was invulnerable at this position. This is a team of like face at level 10s, and they could not deal with it. A Negev on the fountain, just holding left click.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously not an unbeatable tactic.
No.
But I think it's harder than people sort of realize to get past, like, a guy who knows what he's doing with a Negev.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to get past a guy who knows what he's doing with a FAMAS. So, I have a story about the I would always buy the R8 when smurfing. And I used to smurf a lot at, like, really low ranks and just sort of... because I was a piece of shit and just sort of like take the piss. But I once got the opening kill on Nuke. I went to wallbang the squeaky door with a revolver at the start of the pistol round, and somebody opened it as I fired, and I collateral headshotted them, and I was like, I am so reported. They opened the door, I collateral R8 headshot them at silver. I'm like,
I'm like actually reported. All right, we have questions.
Absolutely.
I put questions out before this, and we have many.
We have many.
So our first question is from Jack. He would like to know who your favorite Joker is.
Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger?
Oh, or I can't find the joke. There's a joke in there somewhere, but I can't find it. I was going to say like Nico. Maybe Darth Mike on Mustache Masters. You see his makeup,
the clown face.
He was the bloody Daryl from CS.
Yeah.
But he kind of just looked like the Joker.
So I haven't seen that many Batman movies, so I'm going with Heath Ledger. But like
Heath Ledger, it's like the de facto answer.
Yeah, it's Heath Ledger out of just like.
Yeah, but Heath Ledger he's just a really good Joker. It was.
Next question: G2 with Munzie, revamped Astralis, Vistralis with Zonic, which is a fantastic name, and I think we should continue to use that. Nip with 5 tier 1 players. Gambit with more LAN experience and Heroic with more LAN experience. Which of these teams gives Navi the best fight next year or even potentially knocks them off their throne?
G2. That we talked about it. That G2 team is like frightening.
It's just G2 with just Munzie, not with Rops as well.
It's probably.
I think it's still G2.
It's like G2 and then Gambit.
I think Nip right after that is my thinking, but I could be wrong.
I have no faith in NIP. Maybe I would say.
I think NIP has gone back to where they were in the summer.
I'm putting Vitality next.
I think NIP has gone back to where they were during the summer, which is I don't expect anything from NIP, and if they do something, it surprises. Like I don't get excited about NIP.
Yeah, like I refuse to believe that Essa tag is the missing link. Like.
Prove me wrong. Please prove me wrong. But
go for it. But like, he's a good player and it's a sensible move. But there's no way the only thing that was stopping it. I mean, yeah, fine. It's fine.
All right. Predict the next Valorant player to come back to CS. It's Nitro.
Yeah, I think
that's kind of a cop-out answer, but like,
Yampy.
You think Yampy?
I think now he's allowed in majors. I think he might come back.
I'm gonna go with something bold here, and say it's one of the young people on like one of like the weird rosters like Zelsis or something like version 1 from North America or something like that.
I can't see him coming back.
I'm thinking like one of like the young Valorant players that went over. It's like I fucking hate Valorant. I'm going back.
I was kind of tempted to say Petra. On G2.
No, they just signed.
But like they just signed.
G2 goes in.
They just signed that huge they're like crushing contract, it, and I'm like. Yeah, they're kind of like they're getting more support in Valorant than they were ever going to get in CS,
which is unfortunate.
This is a shame because Petra was.
There's like
insane.
One female Counter-Strike team left now.
Yeah,
because it used to just be that
Godsent have one, don't they?
Oh, Godsent and MIBR do. I totally forgot about
Yeah, MIBR have gone as well. Yeah, Godsent have...
Godsent MIBR.
Like
CLG
Nessa.
Still has CLG Red.
Do they?
With Diana and Jennifer and stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They are still a team. And then the Galaxy Racer team.
Oh,
with Vilga on it.
Yeah. I know, yeah.
So why does he believe AZ is the greatest there has ever been?
How do you want me to answer
I don't know.
He's like genuinely one of the most talented riflers. It's just his career has gone in a way where he's always been on somewhat inconsistent teams. Like maybe
really Team South inconsistent team.
It wasn't alive long enough to be inconsistent. But he was always on somewhat inconsistent teams, and he himself was inconsistent. Is inconsistent. But talent-wise, he really is one of the best players of all time.
Okay.
Just, it was inconsistent, and I don't think the teams he was on necessarily helped that.
You'll know who this question's from. What is your favorite thing about the CS creator Donald, aka VuCSGO?
The fact that he's bald.
That's a pretty good fact. He is now bald.
And the fact that he's in Croatia for like 3 months and is having to PayPal money to people because he doesn't have a wallet. he PayPal'd Koi, the mouseball analyst, at $1,000
to just get like cash or something.
Yeah, and Koi has given him $300 and then withholding the rest.
Oh my fucking god! Someone replied to that. What is your least favorite thing about the CS creator Donald, aka VuCSGO?
His YouTube videos.
Thumbnails though, pretty good.
Yeah, his thumbnails are good.
Yeah,
it's just that's where it stops.
And then what's the deal with Inferno?
It sucks.
Thanks.
All right, let's give my genuine answer.
Okay, so
on this.
Inferno, as a third map in a series, really good to watch. I enjoy watching Inferno as a map 3. I might be the only one left, but
no, people still do. So my issues with Inferno are this: retaking either site
is impossible.
Is really, really difficult, and you get more saves on that map than most, other than like Dust 2, which is its own like unique brand of fuckery.
Yeah.
Pit is just too strong a post-plant position that you can never get into that side. Like you can hold a multiple different... Like there's like 9 different head glitches in pit alone that you can hold.
So I'm a pit player on CT side.
Yeah, so am I. Because it's too powerful.
It is legitimately the most powerful. You can play that position with just a smoke and whatever gun you want, and you can guarantee yourself a triple.
For some reason, when I was bad, I was given pit as my position in like the way my friends, like with my friends. I think we were like really bad, so we didn't know like where you would put your best players. And like when I was really bad, I was given pit, and I was like, oh, I can actually do this. And then I realized later on, it's just because
it is the easiest.
It's just so powerful. And now I play there, and I'm like, yeah, no, this is easy. And you have to mix it up, obviously, by going into apps sometimes and just like taking like weird positions. But it's just if you get post plant and you're in pit, you can consistently 2v4 post plants with pit side.
Yep. 1,000%.
And it's just a disgusting position.
Yeah. I love playing Inferno because of pit. I
actually enjoy playing Inferno. I just think it's a bad map. Like B has one entrance unless you split through the enemy spawn, which is, it's become more and more like a meta thing that you can do it with like 3 smokes. And it's like, okay, I don't mind it too much now, but you pretty much, otherwise you have to go through the choke point that is Banana. Banana's like, since Astralis ruined the game, Banana's is a mess because you can just, everyone now knows how exactly to nade and molly every position. And it's like, so you can't really go, you can't fight Banana in a pug. It's just miserable.
Yeah.
And then in pro play, it's just for the first 40 seconds, the entire Banana is on fire. And then it like, ruins that. You're often playing with 0 info unless you're heroic on the CT side. So it's just like, oh, do you gamble stack 3 players to the right site with no info, or have they faked? I don't like that. And there's more kills through smoke on that map than any other map. I'm pretty sure I saw the data on this before.
There's actual data on that?
Yeah, there was.
I'd say
it's pretty outdated.
If I had to guess, it would be nuke. But
only outside though.
Yeah,
on the sites.
But outside is.
I mean, nobody does site executes in the same way.
Yeah.
There used to be data on it, and at the time, Inferno was far and away the most kills through smoke. What else? There's like 6 different positions you can play on B, and now it's just like, do you get pre-fired or do you not? Because you can play. Nobody plays. Certainly in pro play, nobody plays behind the fountain because the flashes are too strong now. So it's just like new box, dark, second oranges,
first oranges,
coffins, and play retake, and boosted flower pots.
Top first oranges.
Top first oranges is really strong, actually. Yeah, but it's like
it's like 7 places to play. Like you.
Yeah, there seems to be like no variety in CT sides. Certainly on the B side, it's like, oh, we'll go aggressive Banana, or we'll just hold coffins and play retake.
To me, in like low tier play, right? Obviously shitter tier. Inferno is more CT sided than nuke, by far.
Yeah, it feels like Inferno should be more CT sided than it is, but because post plants are impossible, because you can't retake. So it's like, do you get the 2 entry kills, in which case you win the round, or do you not, and you just get shut out? Because taking Banana should be really difficult. You can solo hold it once you've got control of it, which is always miserable. I also hate the apps wallbangs, because the CTs like have to be really careful going into apps, so you can't really aggress there. Like if you're going to aggress, it has to be like retaking brackets mid-round or Banana aggression, which also the map's really small, so all the fights are at the same range. That's something I like about Overpass is
I love
however you enjoy playing the game,
you can play it.
You can do it on Overpass.
I have actually 2 friends who will just play shotguns on Overpass.
Yeah,
because they play con.
The Tony San effect. There's a guy I used to play 10-mans with called Tony San, who because it was such a mix of players, we had like all the way up to like level 10 semi-pros. Like Nikodos used to play with us, who's now on Copenhagen Flames. Yes. Like you go from him to like silvers. Tony was like gold at the time. I think he's a lot better now, but he was like a gold Nova at the time, and he would just buy XM10s on every map. It was all he would play. I mean, so whenever I see like a shotgun and connect, I'm like, oh, the Tony San. That's how much he scarred me. But yeah, like however if you like AWPing, you can just play like in mid and just AWP that. You like aggression, you can do the fur like constant aggression near toilets.
Yep.
If you like taking long fights, you can just as a T you can go down long. If you like more close range angles, I always like pushing short. Like Inferno, you want to take a long range fight, good fucking luck.
Yeah. No, I'm the guy on Overpass that goes con on T every single round.
Really, I will go connector on Overpass as a T once every 3 games.
Once every 3 games? Jesus.
I do not go. I hate connector. It always feels like you hold this angle, waiting for the AWP.
No, because
I don't know where the head is.
So I play aggressive connector.
I feel like whenever I do that, I'm like running up connector, and then I just get
I play it stupidly because I jump down there with an AWP.
Yeah, I mean that's something I don't.
And
mind.
then I fucking push up connector.
The
amount of knives I've gotten in the back of a guy connector just looking the wrong way, astronomical.
Off default, I push short usually on the T side. I always kill a boosted player. That's the biggest tip for playing Overpass is if you push short at the start of the round, always hold for the boost immediately.
Yep.
Because you will get a 1 kill a half. And it's the most satisfying kill you'll get all game. Like, they used 2 men to boost into short, and I pre-aimed it and just killed him. And it's like, and then you have to try and kill him and transfer the spray through the wall to kill it. If you do that,
it's impressive.
It's like I don't think I've ever done it, but like I've dinked somebody through there, and I was like, I feel so good. Yeah, like, but that's why I think, like, that's why, I mean, Overpass is an unfair example because it's the best map in Counter-Strike.
Agreed.
But, like, even Mirage, like, you can take closer range fights on B or, like, Underpass or something like that as a T, but you can't take long range fights on Inferno, like, easily.
The only thing is mid.
Yeah, but
and
after a while, nobody peeks mid, yeah.
The only people that peek mid, like, that ever touch mid are... if you're crossing into banana, or if you sit in opera there.
AWPs or legendary eagles, they will just peek mid rifles randomly. But no, that's one thing I really don't like about Inferno that nobody ever seems to bring up is that all of the fights are like pretty much the exact same range.
Yep.
Which actually does kind of suit me because it's the sort of range I'm actually quite good at. Yeah. And I'm actually, it's one of my better maps. I just don't like it. And I don't like watching it either.
What's your better map? Because you play Pit.
Well, yes, quite. Yeah, that definitely helps. It's the one I have like the best position on. But
yeah. All right, we're gonna finish up for this week. We need food.
Yes, I have not eaten, and it's 12:30.
Yeah. We have a while to travel for food.
Yeah.
It's a
yeah.
decent bit away. We'll get going. We will be back to normalcy next week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Some version of normalcy.
Well, no, I'll be back at my normal place. You'll be back in the UK.
Yeah.
So that's normal.
Yeah.
The last 3 weeks have been wild. So this is the end of our wild session of weeks. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at RetailDR, at Aizyesque, and at Logan Ramhap. Catch us next week. That's all. Bye.